This podcast contains discussions about sensitive topics, including mental health, alcohol and substance use, as well as suicide. It may also include strong language. The viewpoints expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the hosts. Listener discretion is advised. If you or someone you know needs support, please reach out to a trusted professional or a helpline.
Welcome back, viewers. Twist the Throttle is now live again. We got another episode coming to you. We got Ali here today, Jeff's
Brother-in-law.
Thanks a lot for coming along, brother.
Thank you for having me.
So you're married to my oldest younger sister, Hannah.
Yeah.
3 beautiful kids. Just a brand new 10-week-old today. So by the time this comes out, be 12-week-old, I reckon.
Yeah.
Little Isaac, first boy in the family since me.
Yeah, really excited.
How's being a dad of 3?
Yeah, good. Really loving it. They're all close together. So we've got Nora, so she's turned 3 recently, and then Audrey's about to turn 2, and Isaac is 10 weeks. So I've got
crazy.
Yeah, wow, unreal. I don't know if I could do it again, to be honest.
Yeah.
Every time I see Hannah, she's pregnant.
It is a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot. But it's a lot now. But I feel like
it'll be good in the future
when they're older. Play with each other.
You want a big family though, too, don't you?
Yeah, I had a big age gap with my siblings, and I was never cool enough to play with them. So
beautiful.
They don't do a lot when they're babies. Eat and sleep, mate. And
I'll tell you what, Nora's one of the most confident little girls ever. She'll walk up to you and start talking to you. She's a great kid.
That's amazing.
Audrey's getting there.
Yeah, she's getting her words. She's starting to say a few things that make sense together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So you got any history of motorbikes?
Ever ridden one? Ever been on the back of one?
Does a Vespa count?
Have you seen that video of the guy on the Vespa and he's passing everybody?
Yeah, going up through the twist.
I don't know if that's an actual Vespa.
I reckon there might be some work done.
Engine swapped or something.
Yeah. It's still a scoot.
So you've been on one of them?
Yeah. When I was in Asia, usually I'll rent one and make my own way around.
Thailand.
Bali and but they all use just Vespas. It's the main mode of transport. It made me want to get one when I was here, but then I was like, nah, that's stupid.
Motorbikes are crazy. You'd have to have some type of problem to ride one.
You got a Paul from Hogs, Cogs and 2 Aussie Flogs. He gets around. He's got
it's
a big one.
It's a big
500 or something. He's a big bloke too. He gets around on the right. Good fun.
They look like a lot of fun.
All right, mate. What's something that people would be surprised to know about you?
One would be, I used to be in a hip-hop dance crew.
Yeah, right.
I was in a Kiwi dance crew, and we went to New Zealand, did a bunch of shows and stuff like that, and then also just in Melbourne, an Aussie dance crew, and we did hip-hop and stuff like that. That was really fun.
You had your Bucks party before the wedding.
Yeah.
We went down to Peninsula, down to Mornington Peninsula, down that way, and there was a couple of Ali's dance mates there, and they were having a dance off. Andrew was there
it's like a drum dance.
I didn't know about
Go to the Olympics, mate. You might win a gold medal. I hear the bar's pretty low.
At the end of the night, no one was standing.
And then also that you play piano.
Yeah, I like to play piano.
I've always dreamt about playing piano. I'd love to, but I don't think I've got the skill level for it, to be honest.
In COVID, I got an app on an iPad. And it was just like that every day, just 10 minutes, 10, 20 minutes. And I'm nothing
no classical training or anything like that. Just self.
I wouldn't say I'm very good either. It's just something I do because it makes me happy.
Yeah, perfect, man.
There's one guy on YouTube I watch. There's one guy, it could be a girl, but they play it and there's all these lightning and sparkles and stuff when they play. It's so cool. I sit there and watch that.
And you just follow it.
Yeah.
It's like Guitar Hero thing. But the piano, it's really fun.
That looks pretty awesome.
What kind of teenager were you?
What was life like for you in high school?
Quiet.
No. Anxious, super anxious. Yeah. A lot of self-esteem, I guess, or self-confidence, or whatever you want to call it. Just a lot of people pleasing.
Yeah.
Yeah, not really knowing my own sort of identity, personality, where I fit. Just really high anxiety. I remember it was awful. Wouldn't want to do teenage again. But,
so you mentioned in high school you were bullied quite badly.
Yes. I had my fair share of experiences bullying. First, moved to Australia, I didn't really speak the language. I also have a Jewish background. I'm Jewish, so I was the only Jewish kid in that school, and I was just getting bullied. And I had some awful things. For years, I had swastikas drawn on my locker, and people throwing rocks.
People are nasty, aren't they?
Unreal shit. I really didn't. Can I swear? Sorry.
No, of course.
I really didn't expect that coming to another country and just being overwhelmed by like, yeah.
I think we've come a long way in Australia in acceptance in the last
multiculturalism is a lot better now.
Yeah. I remember going to school, I had like one Italian kid in my class and all the rest are Aussies. And now like you'd be lucky to get one Aussie kid to everyone else. I think it's just a change in the way the world's changed.
Yeah, there was very few Asians, some from like African countries. I remember I moved schools and like there's a class called English as a Second Language, and it was just me and another Brazilian dude, and we're still friends now. One of my best friends. It was just the two of us.
Bonded over bullying.
So you reckon that time in high school got you into like mental health field?
Yeah, absolutely. Really formative. I was very isolated and alone, and like back then, like there wasn't internet and stuff like that. I didn't even have a computer. So I remember if I wanted to speak to my friends and family overseas, my brother would give me his laptop like once a month when he wasn't using it for work, and I could like send an email.
Yeah, quickly. And then wait for hours for a reply or a couple of days.
So getting into mental health was, I guess like it's in the family, my siblings, and then also, I wanted to be there like for someone else. Like I felt at that time I didn't have anyone to talk to, share my experience or anything like that. So that motivated me to help others.
So you say your family's in the field, or your brother does?
Yeah, I've got two older brothers. The eldest one is a psychologist.
Okay.
And then the second one, he's in constructions.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Underachievers, yeah.
So when was the moment when you actually thought that mental health was like your go-to?
I don't know if it was like, I definitely can't say it was like confidence that I knew, my calling or anything like that. It was more like I finished high school and it was like, what subjects do you want to pick? And I was like,
okay.
Psychology, social work.
So what made you think psychology and social work, why not pick a distinct path? Unsure kid?
Yeah, and also the grades. Like it was whatever I could get into was my interscore at the time. Yeah.
So interscore, the number that defines the rest of your life. I never finished high school to get mine. So, too many of my mates were like going crazy at that time. I was already working by the time they were getting up to that stage. And the amount of pressure put on kids to get their ATAR.
ATAR, what's that?
So it's like at the end of high school, you get a grade, and it's like
from
99 point.
Well, I knew,
99.95.
I must have left school way before I needed to know about that.
So it depends on like if you want to go be a doctor or a lawyer or something like that, you're in really high ATAR, and you can't get those higher grades without
being at school,
doing extra work. So it's not just like the normal course criteria. You have to pick courses that give you a higher grade. So Trisha's sister, Callie, got a 96, I think. So,
whoa.
Yeah, very
pretty much do whatever she wanted
smart
to do.
Girl, yeah.
Well, I remember like with the first school I went to, if I would have stayed there, like in year 9, everyone was already like bludgeoning and on the oval and smoking weed and not doing anything. But then when I switched schools, all of a sudden everyone was studying, and just because of that, I got a much better ATAR score than if I was to stay in the last school. It makes a big difference. Like kids.
So where did you actually study?
So I got a scholarship into a private Jewish school because of my experience, and that's when things sort of changed for me. I wasn't the only kid anymore. And,
So one of the reasons we wanted to get you on, mate, I've been talking to you for a while about coming on the show. You've worked in hospitals, you've worked in non-government organisations, you've done psychology work, you've done work on the helplines. You can give us a bit of a insight into this world that we talk about from a professional side of things. Working in lots of different settings, how are they different day to day? So, say from like a
hospital,
private hospital to a non-government hospital, what would be the difference?
So I've worked mostly in public hospitals, and I guess how it's different to a private hospital would be with private hospital, by default, you're a voluntary client. So people sort of like, and you also have to be able to afford it. So those two factors really change who comes in.
Yeah.
And public hospitals, you're just inundated with work and everyone's short on resources and you're always doing it overtime and there's always more work to be done. And you feel more attracted to public mental health.
Okay, so the clientele are definitely different. You can tell the difference between a public and a private client.
Yeah, more unwell, not there by choice. The problems are very different. It's usually financial, drug and alcohol, other factors that have brought them to being there at that time.
So we talk about different types of care. You've got acute care and subacute care. What's acute care?
Acute care, I guess, is just another word for like intensity.
Yeah.
Subacute would mean less intense, and acute is like the inpatient unit in the ward in the hospital. So I've worked both. I worked in emergency departments and I've worked in subacute, which is before you go into hospital, when you first start to notice some symptoms or that you're about to become more unwell. So is it a preventative care? and then also after the hospital. So if you're in the inpatient unit and you're well enough to be discharged, in other words, you tell the psychiatrist that you're no longer suicidal.
Not going to hurt yourself.
Yeah. But you're not quite ready to go home. So there's also there's an in-between program. Like you can go from the inpatient unit to this program for another 2 weeks and then go home or something like that.
So I haven't actually spoken to you in depth about what you do. I just knew what you did, and that's it. You met my sister who does the same type of work.
So what's the first step when you actually get in there and go through the nurses and you get triaged and whatnot? What's the first step you deal with right away? Like treating, like you're going through the medications, you're talking to them straight away.
So I guess like the question is like the assessment. What does the assessment look like? Yeah. Because there's different types of presentation. It depends how you end up in the mental health support. But let's say it's like emergency department. And I worked it during COVID, and that was like a very intense time. So you'd come into the emergency department, and then you would be triaged by the nurse there. They would refer to the mental health team, and they would come to the emergency department and do an assessment with you. What's in an assessment? You look at, I guess, all the information, the bigger picture. You look at what symptoms are currently in front of you, how long have they been experiencing it, what's the context, what's been contributing, leading. Yeah, and then the history is really important. Do they have any diagnosis? If they've stopped taking the medications.
So if a person rocks up, he or she's not voluntarily rocking up there and not freely giving information, how do you deal with that?
Yeah, so I was on the CAT team, and I had to, for a period, then I had to put people under the Mental Health Act. With the Mental Health Act, it's usually illnesses that the person doesn't always have full control over. So it's more like bipolar, it's more like schizophrenia. It's
drug-induced psychosis.
Yeah. Sometimes it's personality disorders. In that situation, it depends on how irritable the person is. Like I've definitely, almost got assaulted and stuff like that and been called every name under the sun. If they're completely like too aggressive, then they would be sedated, and then you try to talk to them again later. Yeah. Hopefully, once I guess like everything's out of their system and they're in a better headspace.
It's a really tough field to be in because you kind of the person has to open up to you as well.
Yeah.
Because mental health issues, they're not visible on the outside. You really need to like question.
And a lot of people, especially people who've gone through the system quite a few times, kind of know what they have to say to get out. They know how to play the system, and as a professional, I guess, trying to read that, are they actually feeling how they tell me they're feeling, or like
and it's really sad, like also knowing what to say to get in. And I guess that's where it's really important to have like good quality of care, so like a quality clinician that genuinely cares and wants to know what's going on for you, and doesn't, with the Mental Health Act, you try to use it like only when absolutely necessary. You're telling someone that they have to come into hospital now, which is an awful thing to do.
So just recently, my younger brother, won't name names, but was found unconscious and taken into a hospital and drug overdose and was not in a good way. Me and my sister went and saw him, and while unconscious, I've only seen him either in prison or in hospital in the last 10 years. But he woke up, they asked him how he was, he abused the shit out of everyone, ripped out all his stuff and just left. You can't help people who don't want to help them. So I think that's where my respect for what you do really comes from, is like, you put yourself out there as this caring person, and sometimes that gets thrown in your face. Like that's a lot to take on.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of admiration as well for, I guess, organizations that have the resources. A lot of the time you get clinicians that are burnt out, and that's when you see them really jaded, and then they push back and they don't want to do their job.
They don't care anymore.
They don't care anymore. So yeah, it's really important to have like good resources in the right organizations, so a person can sit down. But like you're saying, that's a really common example of people falling between the cracks, because like if there's drug and alcohol and mental health, if you go to each side, they'll say, oh no, it's not mental health, it's drug and alcohol. And if they'll say, oh no, it's mental health, you should get the mental health.
The drug use comes from somewhere, doesn't it? Like that's,
You're getting a lot of young people as well, totally different type of mental health issues because of like social media and whatnot now, or the dynamics changed from back in the day when you're an old crazy person. You're talking to yourself.
There's a lot there. Like, I guess with schooling, people choose a lot now not to go to school, where there was like, back in the day you had to go to school, and now there's people that are just saying like, if you're anxious, don't go to school, or homeschooling and stuff like that. there's also cyberbullying. That's a huge factor as well, because now the bullying follows you home. It's
exactly right. In the old days,
not just in the classroom
you'd
or after
dread going to school.
Yeah.
When you left,
you're like, it was a relief.
Yeah, you didn't have to think about them again. But now it's relentless. Yeah.
Yeah.
Different world completely. You went through all the training, did all the hard work, got into the police force.
Yeah.
How'd that all work out? What happened to that?
Yeah, so I was working like 10 years in mental health, and I had enough. And I decided I call it my little hiatus. I was super into detective stuff and crime thrillers. I was like watching Bosch, and I was reading all these novels and stuff like that. So I was like, why not just give it a try and become a detective? And the process was really cool. Like, it takes a year to get in, and you jump through all these hoops. You do like fitness. You
got yourself up fitness-wise.
Yeah, like psychology. They do like a physical test. They do everything. So after a year, I got in and then jumped into the academy. The academy was fun. It was pretty intense. I did have doubts already then that I was like,
not quite what you thought.
The culture is very different and it's very hierarchical. Anyway, I jumped in a bunch of stations and I worked the roster. And I decided like it wasn't for me, because I also had our firstborn Nora at the time. Yeah. And like I was like in my 30s and just like pulling intense shift.
Missing time with the family when that was your new priority. Yeah.
And then like I was super stressed and I was putting on weight and I was just like not happy. Yeah, and my sleep was everywhere and it was impacting my mental health.
So how did returning back to the old career feel?
Well, that's it. Like I had a second option. I feel like if I was more impressionable, I feel like if I just came straight out of high school, I would have stayed. But because I knew different and I had different jobs, I was like, I can just go back. Have a lot more, like, better working conditions.
Was there different career paths within the police force that you could have gone that you might have found your better place?
I guess that's the other thing I found out, like, being a detective, you have to, like, be a police officer for, like, at least 5 or 6 years.
So
and you also
the
have
road
to, like,
was a long road before you were going to get to what you wanted.
And I was, like, rookie. I was, like, the bottom of the bottom. Like, you can't say anything, you can't do anything. And I saw a lot of stuff that I didn't like. I didn't like a lot of the family violence practices. I didn't like it. Some of the mental health stuff that I saw, and it's very hard to speak up when you're a rookie.
I think I've had a few mates that have joined the police and left, and they were like, you just can't walk into a room and see a room full of people. You walk into the room and you see possible criminals, and you see, like, it changes your perspective on the world. Their approach to mental health is cuff them, chuck them in the van. Get them to the hospital where you guys take them.
Yeah, that's right.
But they get them out of the public.
And I saw a lot of the same mental health people that I used to see in like the ward. And the job was very different. Like I did a lot of the COVID protests, and that gets tired and real quick. Like
I trained to be a correctional officer, and in Ravenhall they do a lot of recidivism. They're trying to make them better people to rejoin society once they've done the time. Yeah, and that was a lot of mental health work. Yeah, and it would have been really good if I managed to finish it off, but I didn't get in there, unfortunately. So now I'm doing a podcast. Hello, everybody.
Hey, we're still doing a service here.
we are doing a service. So when you're dealing with mental health issues within the police force, you're then putting them on to people that you're actually doing now. So which is a good thing. Yeah. In a totally different field.
One thing you were very strict on about coming on the show is we weren't going to talk about who you work for. Naming a company could be you being a spokesman for them, which is not the case. We're just asking about what you actually. So currently working on a helpline, is that right?
I work as a team leader in a community team. It's an online forum, so anyone in Australia, you can just jump on and have a chat with a clinician.
I've always been really keen from the beginning to get somebody on from a helpline to explain what are the first steps when you call up a helpline.
So if I'm at home, I'm
not feeling very good, and I'll call up the helpline. What can I expect? What's going to happen? What are you going to be asking? What type of questions?
I actually, like, when I worked in mental health, I never thought I'd get to work from home. And like with this job, I actually get to work from home. So it's pretty cool. Anyway, it's open like until very late. There's some helplines that are open 24/7.
Yeah.
And it depends on what. So you can either phone call, you can either web chat. So even on your phone or computer. You can do a video telehealth if you want to, and you can also just speak via email. People that just like email back and forth. And it's very, very basic. You could be anonymous. You don't even have to say your name, which is pretty cool. And you just like literally, you give as much as information as you want. So you'll say visit reason, and some people say struggling with my anxiety, struggling with mental health, whatever. Some people choose to say nothing, and then like they get gridded. So you get into like a wait line, as of sort, and then a clinician will pick you up and say, "Hi, how are you? What's going on for you?" And then
so it's not going to happen straight away. So some people have got to wait.
It depends. It depends. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes
could be half an hour. Could be straight away. Could be 1 hour.
So yeah, you can expect a little bit of a wait time maybe when you guys are busy at popular times, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. You do your best to get them as quick as possible, but like it depends on.
You're never trying to rush anybody either.
That's right. Yeah. You want to finish what you're doing first, do good quality of care, and then
move on to
focus on the next one.
Have you ever had times when you've gone, fuck, that was intense, and you needed like a freaking mental break from it?
All the time.
Yeah.
So
you come up with like different ways of coping. Like a lot of the times it could be like a debrief. So you have a chat to someone, another clinician, be like, that was a heavy chat. Can I just talk to you about it? Sometimes, you just go on 10-minute walk, make a cuppa and come back, clear your head. Whatever you need.
Try and keep your conversations away from your partner, or sometimes you share that type of stuff?
Nah, because she works in mental health.
Okay, yeah.
Hannah's amazing. And like, I feel like she knows more than me. So you can ask her like, all the time.
So who's on the other end of the line? So when you answer, is it always going to be someone who's a trained professional, or do you have volunteers that do this?
Now we have peer workers, and a peer worker is someone with a lived experience. That's been a really positive step, because it's like you're talking to someone who's gone through something really similar.
Yeah.
So peer workers are a huge group that has been more focused on recently, like the last, 5-10 years. And then you can either choose to speak to a clinician or a peer worker. Yeah. So it's up to you who you want to talk to.
We've had Lisa on a couple of weeks back now that was Alcohol's Anonymous.
Yeah, if you haven't heard it, you don't know who that is, go back and watch it.
Go back and watch it.
Sorry.
Lisa's great. We love Lisa.
Yeah, it's really good. She had some really good analogies too. Yeah. I love that train one. She says, mate, when you're on that train, you can hop off the train whenever you want. You can sit on that train until you freaking...
Yeah. I think I actually used the other day, play the tape forward, one of her things that she was talking about.
I like that one too.
That's awesome.
Have you got any catchphrases?
I've watched it in preparation for this. It was a really good episode.
Yeah.
Lisa's awesome.
Yeah. So how do you calm someone down who's nervous about calling? Like if someone's really apprehensive on that first call, how do you relax? And is that just technique you've learnt, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess like mental health is one of those things where like I think there's a lot of mystery, I guess, around it, or like it can be built up to be a lot more complicated than it is. But at the end of the day, like 95% of the callers, they just want connection. And the first thing that you do is validation.
Mm-hmm. It's okay to
chat. Yeah. What's going on for you? No pressure. You want to come back again later, you could do that. You want to try a different method of talking, we could do that. Because once you like try to jargon and insert too much into it, it doesn't help, because you're adding more complexity to the issue. But at the end of the day, it's about connection. So as long as a person feels comfortable, they're more likely to want to have
conversation.
In your conversations, if you realize someone's actually in danger or a big chance of hurting themselves, do you have a process? Like, can you call like for a welfare check, or do you have access to the police or ambulance or something?
With the helpline, absolutly. I don't know if this is given. So if anyone, and we always do a risk assessment, and every session you want to do a risk assessment, and part of that is just outright asking, are you having any thoughts of hurting yourself? Are you having any thoughts of hurting anyone else? And then there's like a process where you go like, how often and how intense, and do you have a plan and a history if you tried before, stuff like that. But yes, if someone is admitting to
I've hurt myself or
I'm thinking of, we call the ambulance or police for them. Another process is as well, we can call the mental health triage for them. So every state has a mental health triage line that's 24 hours with amazing clinicians on the line, and that will be connected to your local hospital. So wherever you are, they can send a team to your house the next morning if you don't want lights and sirens. And the clinician also agrees that it can wait until the next morning.
Pretty good.
Very.
There's great services out there about getting the knowledge out there. So mental health triage is a great point of contact.
Yeah.
Sometimes you will get pushback from the triage clinician, which is sad. Again, like burnout and people not wanting to do their job. But there is like certain things you can say to get yourself across the line, like a little bit of advocacy. You have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
Which is sad, but it's true.
So how bad does it have to be for somebody to be admitted to hospital?
Hospital, it's pretty much, I'm thinking of hurting myself. Or again, if it's one of more of those like organic diseases like schizophrenia and bipolar, where the risk is really high, but the person is relapse. It also depends on what medications you're on. Like if you miss a couple of doses, you can only come back into hospital and start them. But like pretty high. It needs to be pretty high, especially in the public. In the public, there's never available beds. So they'll always try other things. That's where private hospital is really great if you can afford it. Sometimes there's a trick where public hospitals, this is a bit technical, sorry, the public hospital get a bed in a private hospital.
Yeah.
So like if a private hospital has a free bed, then the public will organize, and that will also be covered by Medicare, and it's not.
Yeah.
But that
It's
rarely happens.
It's like a seat upgrade on a plane.
Pilot.
So what's the major difference between like being voluntarily admitted and involuntarily? Obviously, one's your choice, the other one's more mandated. How does someone become involuntary? They are very likely to hurt themselves, and you can't responsibly let them go, or
So it depends on their diagnosis a lot. So if it's like a lifelong disease, like schizophrenia, then they will be monitored regularly by a community team. And like it depends. Like people have long life and manage their symptoms really well on medications and, become successful people with schizophrenia and bipolar. If it's more like the personality disorders, the other side of the spectrum, that's usually like a gradual decline in their mental health, where you can see also like it's impacting their relationships and, job. And there's a lot of stresses on the person, and then they're completely overwhelmed and not coping, and
been there.
Self-harm and suicide, in a way, it's like an escape. We tend to sort of like imagine and visualize a lot of escapism. That's why people love movies and books and fantasy and stuff like that.
My video games is switch my brain off, something to concentrate on that's difficult but not no consequences.
I was playing a game before this.
For me, it's a tough thing. So the last couple of days, I've just turned devices off and sat and tufted rugs. So
I had a really intense weekend of helping out some friends with some marriage problems, and got them back on the right path, and it kind of burnt me out a little bit. So this week I found a new sci-fi show, and I've just switched my brain off and watched dumb.
I knew you were quite busy helping, so I just left you alone this week, Jeff. It's been on quite a week.
No, good. It was a really good result for what we wanted for those guys.
No, that's good.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, good on you. That's amazing.
It's lucky we are now doing what we're doing, and we can help people like that. I like to be able to help. I remember going through something very similar with my ex-partner, and I didn't have anybody there to help, and I didn't have people saying, well, maybe you should call up a helpline.
Yeah. I think, that's our thing is we come from that, masculine, boys don't cry generation, where the reason we talk about this stuff is so to say, hey, you can talk about it. Getting guys on who are from our generation and go hey, tell us your story and what you've been through, how you got through it and stuff like that. It's been a lot of fun.
And it's good that everybody goes through it.
Yeah.
And it's important. Yeah. It doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are, you go through some stuff in life. And if you can openly talk about it with people that have been through a very similar thing, it's a better world, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
All right, getting back on topic for going into the hospitals, mate, what would the first 24 hours of someone who's been admitted look like? Is it intense therapy off the bat? Is it just relax and find your feet?
Probably not relax and find your feet. It depends on the time of the day. So it depends if you're rocking up to ED or if someone's organized it for you. But if you're rocking up to ED, you'll see the nurse. She'll ask you what's going on. You'll probably see the doctor. He'll decide that it's mental health. If it's mental health, they'll get a mental health clinician to come do an assessment. Then that clinician will try and get you a bed in the inpatient unit. Sometimes if there's no bed, you're just stuck in ED waiting.
Yeah.
That could be a couple of days.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really it shouldn't be. Other scenarios, they might ask you if it's safe enough to go home and see your GP, get a mental health care plan, and get a referral to a counselor, psychologist. But if you get a bed in the inpatient unit, they'll get you settled into your room. They'll take your belongings, most of them, like your phone and anything like that. And then they'll get you to see the psychiatrist as soon as possible to do the initial assessment. And then depending on what you need, that depends on what your treatment looks like, how long you'll stay there. Yeah. If they need to start new medications or change your regime or anything like that, what needs to change. And the hospital is really good because it can make a lot of change happen quick.
Yeah.
So the social worker can see you and do a lot of Centrelink stuff and referrals to these services, referrals to that services. And you can also start therapy with a psychologist while you're in hospital. You can also like an inpatient psychologist.
Yeah, one of the big downfalls.
Medication, psychiatrists. Psychiatrists are really hard to find in the community.
So we're going to talk about the medicine side of things.
Yeah.
So in the hospital, when they're in there, do they actually do a lot of, I know there's a lot of different medicines for depression and whatnot. Do they do a lot of testing, see reaction, change it up?
Yeah. Yes. So again, that's one of the huge benefits of being in hospital, that you can see a psychiatrist straight away. The psychiatrist can start you on medication straight away, and they can monitor you on that medication while you're in there. And then once you're in a good regime, that means that it's working, and continue this when you go home. Yeah. And there's different ways. There's like Webster packs and stuff like that.
Do you have any success stories to share? Like seeing rapid change?
Yeah.
Put you on the spot, sorry, mate.
No.
Are they kind of like, with your interactions, are they kind of one-offs, or some people can actually come and talk to you again? If they actually kind of get along with you quite well, they can request you to talk to again, yeah?
So after police, I started working in private practice. So that's like the one-on-ones, and that's the voluntary clients, mostly, majority. And that's when I get a lot of like one-on-ones, and every session is 1 hour, a lot of success stories. In public, it's a mixed bag. So you do get people that are one-offs, which is great because they manage the best of their abilities to get on top of it. And then you see some people that come back, and that burns you out as a clinician, because the hospital can be a bit of a band-aid solution every now and again. Like someone will say they're suicidal, they're going to hospital, they're discharged 2 days later. The family feel really disheartened because so much has happened to send them into hospital, and they get discharged straight away, and you're like, what do you do? And then it's a vicious cycle, because they'll just say, because it becomes a way of validating what they're going through and getting attention and getting care, and that's really sad as well in itself. So yeah, you do see those stories that repeat, and the best thing that could happen in a situation like that is if they can engage with someone like a psychologist or a counselor regularly, like intensely, like weekly for a long time, so they can work on some of those deeper seated issues.
One of the big problems in Australia is the public system, the wait list. I've got a mate who's trying to get diagnosed with ADHD, and he got an appointment in February for September. Yeah, so he's recognised there's a problem. He knows how to fix it, but going through that public system is just such a long wait before as you say, there's not many psychiatrists out there, and the ones that are there can burn out, and finding a good psychologist or psychiatrist is really hard. Yeah, you got to find someone you can connect with as well.
Yeah.
What does before hospital and after hospital care look like? What's the support for someone once they come out? If they haven't been sent home after a couple of days, it's not just like, we tried, see you later. There's still a program and stuff they have to follow, or...
So if they were successfully discharged from hospital?
Like you said, someone came in after 2 days, they're going home again.
The plan is, if it's a case like that, the plan is always to refer them to, I guess it's like an outpatient team.
Yeah.
So they will come see you at home.
Yeah.
And the trick with that is the person doesn't always engage. A lot of the time, they don't want to engage. You make the referrals, you make everything happen, and then they just don't answer their phones.
Yeah.
And then you do a visit, an unannounced visit, and hope you catch them. And then they'll say, no, I'm all good. Stop seeing me. Like, I don't want to see you anymore. And yeah, of course, you can't force anything on them. So yeah, like a first step is refer to someone in the community. You would contact their GP. You would tell them everything that's happened. You would make a referral to an outpatient team so they can go up in the community and see them. You would also try and get them linked with a counselor. And of course, if there's other issues, if it's like financial, you try and get a financial planner. If it's housing, you try to get that. If it's drug and alcohol, you try to get that. So that's where inpatient unit can be really helpful, because all of that stuff can happen really quick. Stuff that could take months in the community can take a few days in hospital.
It's important to make them feel that they're not just left out, and once they've left hospital, that's it.
They don't feel like they've just been dropped. So the outpatient team does that.
Yeah, but that's where it's hard. It's really up to them how well they engage. If they say, F off.
Yeah, you got to want the help. One thing, I've broken my back trying to help some people with their mental health, and it's done nothing but hurt me and not help. They've just lapped up that they're getting attention. It's really hard to pick that. Is that the sickness? Yeah.
And quality of care is really important. Again, like you'll get, I've heard a lot of people get bent out from sharing their story. They'll see someone else every time, and they'll say, I have to tell my story again, and I don't go into it. But if you get someone that really cares, and then next time they see you, they remember, then that makes a huge difference as well.
Do you have any practical tools for when life's getting a bit heavy? You got any go-tos?
For yourself personally, yeah? So obviously this job has a big mental health toll on yourself.
If life's getting too heavy, that usually means that you're feeling overwhelmed. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, that's usually you've got too many things going on. So one of the best things to do then is to remove some of those things, some of those stresses. If you can, that's not always an option. But if it's an option, start by removing whatever's making you feel overwhelmed. Even if it's yourself, remove yourself from the situation, if that's an option. And then go to what you know works for you in terms of you need to recalibrate, you need to recover, you need to recharge. It really depends like on intensity and where you're at. But if possible, remove yourself from the situation and do what you need to recuperate. That could be anything. It could be exercise. It could be
buy a motorbike.
Sleeping. It could be buying a motorbike. It could be eating. It could be drinking. Everything and anything. There's no right or wrong, I guess. But like there is that idea of moderation as well. Like, you don't want to like sleep all day. You don't want to.
So if someone was struggling right now, what's one thing that they could do today? Where was the first place you'd send them? It's so individual. That's really hard. Like I've got a mate at the moment that's in a really dark place, and he drinks all the time and he uses drugs, and he got his license suspended, and then he got caught driving while suspended, so he lost his car. So it's just like it went one thing to and like I want as much as I can to be there and help him, and like I know that when before I got married and had kids, we used to hang out all the time, and he was in a better place. Yeah.
And I feel like now he's
dug a big hole.
And the
hole's pretty deep.
I don't know how to get him out of that hole if I'm going. I don't know. So that's what I mean. Like it's really individual, but like generic things that are good for you is taking action.
Yeah.
A lot of people contemplate a lot on what they want to do, but taking one action and simplifying things. A lot of people challenge with procrastination. They struggle with motivation. Breaking things down, like I have a metaphor, like when I talk about building a brick wall. Usually if you think about you have to build a huge wall, you're overwhelmed because it's a huge project. But if you think about it, like if you break it down, it's just like one brick at a time. And that's one of my favorite things. Just do one brick at a time. Make it really pretty, nice cement, round it off, and just focus on the next brick. And there's always one brick. So in more practical sense, it's like routine. Take out the trash, wake up at 8, go to sleep and wake up at the same time. Try to eat healthy if you can. Go for a walk if you can. That's the baseline is always the best place to start. So exercise, sleep, and diet are always the 3 keys. After that, if you can find something that you enjoy doing, start doing that without any expectations of getting anything out of it. Like just do it because it makes you happy. But again, in moderation. And then taking action. If you're starting from scratch, make your resume, apply for a job. Just start small and don't think like, I have to like...
So creating a daily habit, which is like a good routine. Just get those blocks started.
Get started. Routine is so important.
That's right. And then you can build your foundation.
And the other benefit of routine as well is that like you don't have to make that decision at the moment because human beings are very emotional. A lot of the time, our choices depend on how we feel at the time. But if you make that decision before, if you say to yourself, like in the morning, I'm going to go to the gym after work, you don't have to finish work and then be like, do I feel like going to the gym? No, I don't fucking feel like going to the gym. But if you make the decision earlier, you're like, I'm going to go straight to the gym from work. And then you have like a bag in the car and you're like...
Preempt it.
Yeah. So if you can take decisions out of your day, that's really important as well because we're very emotional.
Absolutely. I'm also very lazy.
Yeah. But that's the nature of the human brain. The nature of the human brain is it wants to preserve your energy. And that's, if you think about it from a depression standpoint, like if you wake up in the morning, you don't want to do anything. Where's the safest, easiest place? In the bed. You don't have to make any decisions. You don't have to worry about what anyone's thinking of you. You don't have to make any decisions. But that's also really toxic because if you listen to your brain too much, you start to believe what the brain is telling you. And that's one of the first things people do in therapy is to start to learn that your thoughts are not reality.
Yeah.
Your thoughts are not facts. You can think the sky is purple, but that doesn't mean the sky is actually purple.
Yeah.
You can think that I'm really anxious to go to this party on the weekend. for XYZ reason. But the best thing for you is to push through and still go to that party. Because if you don't go to that party that weekend, the next time you're invited to a party, you're anxious times 2.
I have that saying when I talk to Trish, like I say, you worrying about something that might happen is like paying the interest on a loan you haven't taken out yet. You haven't got the debt yet. Don't start what it could be.
Yes.
Let's get there, see what it is. If we don't like it, we can leave. So getting my wife, who has very bad anxiety issues, out of the house sometimes is like the biggest challenge.
Yes.
They're like, we miss a lot of family events and stuff like that because like we get to the car and she's like, I can't do it. And like, all right, cool. No worries. We just go back inside. Like people are used to us cancelling that, which is terrible, but it's like,
at least you tried.
No,
made it to the car and then you went,
exactly.
No, I can't do it.
And sometimes we get to places we're there for 5 minutes and like, we're going to go. Yeah, like if it's not feeling right, I'm not going to force people to be in situations.
Biggest myth you find with mental health?
Yeah, I like to keep things simple. And I think with mental health, people make it. Depression just means that, like, it means a lot, but like it makes you sad. And that sadness has lasted long enough and it's prevented you from doing things long enough. So it meets the criteria. Yeah. And I guess like happiness is a trap as well in mental health. Emotions, one of the big things is that emotions are fleeting, and it's really important to know that everything passes. And anxiety is one of them, and happiness is one of them.
An unrealistic goal.
Yeah.
Happy all the time.
That's right.
Most of the time,
even if
I've met people that are just really, really happy, and you go,
something's not right.
Are they compensating?
You're a little bit too happy.
Yeah. What are you on? Can I have some of it?
Now I'm suspicious.
You're too nice. Don't be too nice. You're going to be a little bit of an asshole.
Life will make you an asshole.
So what's one thing people get wrong about mental health?
That's another good myth. Everyone has mental health. The myth is that people think that other people have got the shit together. No one's got the shit together. The other thing is that you never actually do have your shit together. You're always aspiring to have your shit together. And that's the beauty of life as well. It can always get better. It can always get worse. But you never actually have your shit together.
You're always working towards
You're always working towards getting your shit together.
I think one of the greatest things growing up for me was realizing that my parents didn't know everything. They're just people trying to work themselves out. And like, I think once I realized that they're not infallible, they're not perfect, and they're going to get shit wrong. It made my life a lot easier because I was always aspiring to this perfection that I thought they had, which was never a real thing. And then eventually you go like, hang on a minute, like they're just in a bad mood. Well,
they're tired.
As a kid, you kind of grow up just thinking the world, you are the center of the universe, and then realizing you're not is a great moment.
Yeah. That's a hard moment as well, because you realize your parents are human and that they don't know everything and that they've made a lot of mistakes. And it's very hard not to hold a grudge against those mistakes. But once you realize that they're human and everyone's trying the best they can with what they know at the time.
I always say to my kids, like, I don't know everything. I'm just doing my best not to mess you up.
That's
like,
the key to it.
I'm trying not to give you issues. Like,
that's what I feel like with parenting. Is like, it's just like being there, being present, and trying to try your best not to fuck it up. And not to give too much of your shit to them. Like, not to pass on your stuff.
So if you could change one thing about how mental health is handled in Australia, what would you do?
More proactive follow-up.
Yeah.
If we had more beds, if we had more resources in the community, like I've got a lot of friends that are nurses from the UK or mental health clinicians from the UK, and their system, they're a little bit more proactive in the community. Like they try to prevent inpatient admissions as much as possible. And people are really active in the community. So they'll come see you every day at home. They'll come see you twice a day at home for like a week and just prevent you from coming into the hospital. And I think that's a much better system rather than coming in and out of hospital here.
We've got a more reactive. So once something's gone wrong, we deal with it rather than prevent it from coming.
Yeah.
That's funding though, isn't it? A lot of that comes down to funding. I've actually looked in recently into going back to school and getting up and I looked at like mental health nurse and I thought I'd have a go at it.
That's awesome.
Now that my brain actually works properly with the Viva.
If you're looking at nursing, there's so much funding. They really want people to become nurses. It's like you pretty much get the course paid for. And then any other council, like a course or something, is like 50 grand and you're just like...
You're too fucking ugly to be a nurse.
I'd look good in the scrubs.
Oh, you can use those as a scrub.
They're bloody cool. Show the camera. Have a look at his fucking top. That Jeff made me one too.
I don't know the hockey shirt.
I wore the merch shirt today. Yeah.
24 for the year we started.
That's it, mate.
Name on the back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, you got one made for me as well. I should be in uniform, sorry.
Yeah, you're in uniform.
Sorry,
you've got this up.
Yeah,
we are looking at getting some
small
merch going.
T-shirts and stuff like that. I'll grab one.
There we go.
We do it to get our merch going. What do we got here?
So we're going to start winding it down. What's your favourite way to spend a Sunday, mate?
Oh, working at the moment. Your favourite way to spend your downtime?
I don't know, to be honest. Like, it's really changed since becoming a dad. Like, it's all about the family, and I love that. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. Yeah, so usually if the grandparents come and we take the kids out to the park or something, it's a nice sunny day, and that's always nice. Yeah, I don't think I've thought about it too much. I like to read. I like to write. Yeah. I like to do things that like low intensity. Yeah.
Ground you back down again.
Recharge after like a crazy day with toddlers.
Old school
MMOs. Yeah. But then I get a lot of crap from Hannah about it. It becomes another stress in itself. Like,
I think I don't think girls as much get the gaming side of things. Don't get me wrong, there are girls out there that are gamers, but there's not as like, I was kind of the out of control ADHD kid, so my parents like buy me a video game,
calm you down,
go fucking go play that, go do that,
leave us alone.
Yeah, pretty much. not intentionally like leave us alone, but like, hey, that'll shut him up for a couple of days. And I kind of carried that in adulthood. I still got the two big TVs on the wall and everything. Yeah, that's how
I got asked the other day by the kid's stepbrother, what games do you play? I'm like, Mark, I wish I had time to play.
Yeah, exactly.
I play how many bikes and rugs and
I collect projects.
Yeah, how many projects can I start?
I'm getting there.
All right. So what was your first job? You said washing cars?
Yeah, car washing.
Still like doing it?
No. Sometimes I'll take it to like the dollar machine. No, it's very different now. Back then it was just like everything was by hand. And it was just me and another guy. Yeah, like I worked in food court again when I was like 16 as well, and then I went to like retail and sales and stuff like that.
What's a book or a movie that stuck with you for years?
Detective stuff, I like Bosch. If you ever watch Bosch is good.
No, I haven't heard that one.
It's really good. It's on Prime.
Yeah,
American, and I can't remember exactly whereabouts, but like
dramatized.
Yeah,
very dramatized.
It's based on a book.
Yeah, cool.
No, it's good shit. And then a book that stuck with me, probably Harry Potter. Made me fall in love with reading and made me want to become a writer. Yeah.
So what type of writing do you do?
I like fiction and like magical realism. It's like fantasy, but just with a little bit more realism in it.
It could be below the surface.
Yeah. Stuff. And that's why I like horrors as well. I like realistic horrors. I don't like horrors that are like
fantastic.
It's never going to happen. I like horrors.
My
kids
think it's funny. I hate horrors.
Yeah,
I've struggled with horror movies my entire life. Like the people who like watch horror movies in my mind have that something in their brain that they need to twist. Yeah, like it's a little bit twisted view of things. And
me and Hannah love horrors.
Yeah, but watch it for like the comedy value of those horrors as well. Yeah, like to me, I watch something scary, I go to bed, I don't fucking sleep. So I'm not going to watch something that's going to scare me. I've seen enough horrible shit in my life in reality that I don't need to go looking for it in movies. But it's just me. I'm not going to judge anyone.
Yeah.
If you weren't in the mental health field, what would you be doing?
Writing.
Writing.
So that's what I do on the side, like as a hobby.
Yep.
We have ties to people who are in editing and we have publishers and stuff now that we know.
I really enjoy it. It's a huge journey and there's so much that goes into it, but it's very personal. If you don't write, it's not going to happen.
Do you write for an audience, as in like do you have in your mind or do you write it just for yourself?
At the moment, it's for myself. Yeah. Like I've written a first book and that was more like of an autobiography, and but I'm working on a second book. And like I'm just learning about writing.
I write all the time. No one gets to read it.
It's just one of those things. It's one of the things that we recommend a lot in therapy as well.
Yeah, it's cathartic.
Journaling and
you can get a whole thought process out of your head if it's in front. You can read it and I can read it the next day.
Yeah.
So what survey do you regular? Do you go like Shell or Caltex or?
I got a Shell because Hannah has like a Shell card.
I actually like Shell. Shell's a very good petrol station. They're very popular. I like to use petrol stations that are really popular because, the petrol's fresh.
Well, I feel like 7-Eleven is not that great.
I wouldn't use 7-Eleven for their premium, for their unleaded.
Yeah.
I would, yeah.
What do you reckon about Costco?
Yeah. Is it really worth waiting for all that queue to go through to get the saving of 6 cents a litre?
Cool. Like there's no person there. It's all on the machine. You just like,
you want to tap stuff. Another step towards a robot. Cashless.
I got it in there.
So every time we finish off the show, we ask the question, we named the show Twist the Throttle. For us, it's twisting that throttle on the bike, bit of freedom. What would that term in your type of world mean? What does twist the throttle mean to you?
Yeah, that's a great question. If I could shed any of the inhibitions and self-doubt and all of those second-guessing thoughts and whatever you want to call them, and just
Go forward.
Right into the sun, whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
I think
that would be cool.
You said something that's going to stick with me in this episode is that like no one's got their shit together. Like we're all aiming for that moment where everything's perfect, and that's not a real thing.
Well, one day it might be. I'm aiming for it. We're all aiming for it.
It's the case of like when you get to that point, you've just got more shit you've got to go through.
Yes.
There's no top of this mountain.
And it's really hard to know which path to go in because a lot of the things are predetermined or influenced by like society or someone told you to go down and then you go down a way and you're like, oh, this is not actually for me. And then you go down a completely different route. Like, yeah, there's always, you want to find something that is meaningful to you.
I can't
like this.
This is great for us. Like, our tens of listeners love it. Like,
our regulars.
Go on.
I see that you've got a beard as well. Do you use any oils? We've
Hardly.
got a sponsor online, Barber's Choice.
Barber's Choice.
Yeah, cool.
20% off on barberschoice.com.au.
It goes to charity.
Yeah, you know the bloke who owns it.
Yeah.
That's it. Support those who support us. Check it out. Jump online. I've had a look at their website now. It's bloody awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I got a message from him the other day saying Twist the Throttle, Throttle 20 is popping off. He's got a few orders come through.
Hey, good work.
Yeah. So we normally say, finish off every episode the same way, mate. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to talk about or anything you thought we'd talk about that wasn't covered?
Yeah, I guess like coming from the perspective of mental health, I really hope that, if you're struggling, that I was able to bridge that gap at all. Like it's super casual. You don't necessarily have to expect that anything will come out of it, but it can just be a conversation, and it is really accessible and it's free and it's online. You could be anonymous, and there's a lot of supports out there in the community and resources that people are not aware of. The best point to start is GP. And unfortunately there's some, again, like with humans, not everyone's perfect. You might get a GP that's not that helpful. Try another GP. Don't give up. There is help out there. And if you,
I think one of the things is like when you start, if you go online and you type in mental health support, you are bombarded with the amount of different services out there. And they start to get really niche as well. I think Tim covered off on his one. Like,
it's like an eating
narcotics
one. It's like a thing.
Alcohol,
abuse.
Yeah, all sorts of
sexual abuse, blah, blah, blah. And you can kind of get overwhelmed in that moment. But if you know the core issue that's bothering you and you type in support for whatever that is, you'll get a lot quicker directed to where you need to go.
And just come and have a chat.
Thanks, Ali.
Thanks, Ali, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot, viewers. Thanks
you once
listeners. Again. We'll catch you on the next episode.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for riding with us today on Twist the Throttle. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your crew. Remember, no matter how tough the road gets, you're never riding alone. Stay safe, stay open, and catch you on the next ride. Keep that throttle twisted.